Hello and good evening from Inception podcast. Welcome back. Tonight I have a wonderful lady come onto the podcast. But before we get to that, I have to do my advertising. So the Inception podcast can be found on Forbidden Knowledge News Network, where you can also find and view amazing, inspirational, and conscious expanding interviews from the likes of Forbidden Knowledge News, Beyond Classified, Day Zero, Dawson Time, Raised by Giants, Understanding Propaganda. That's my professional bit over with. Hello and welcome. And I'm just going to say, who are you?
I'm April Michalski.
And just a little bio, go on.
Let's see. I'm a business owner and a veteran of the United States Army and Air Force. I'm a mom of 5. I'm a little bit of a world traveler, and I am full of wanderlust.
You are a beautiful soul, and I love you lots. So that's going to start it off. Right. So we've got 8 doors. We're going to have a conversation. We've got 8 doors, like 8 questions, but then we're going to open 8 doors and go down and down and down the rabbit hole. And it's about consciousness and experiences. So the first door, April, from your truth in you, what is the human experience that you are experiencing now? What is it?
I'm waking up, or I've awakened. I've realized that everything that I see, hear, and feel isn't as it seems, that I'm in an alternate reality.
Okay.
And if a dualism exists, it's that my consciousness is now aware of itself.
Okay. So you are saying you are consciousness having the human experience.
Correct.
Okay. Is there any more you would like to add to that?
With the awakening happening within myself, I have opened a lot of other doors into other possibilities, and as I call them, realms for other beings to communicate with me and me them. I've had many experiences in the last several months that has propelled me to understand and accept what is going on, because that's the biggest block, is the acceptance part of it.
Okay. Wow, that's a wonderful answer. Thank you for sharing that. So we've touched on it from what is the human experience when I say, well, who am I? So could you expand on more of who you actually are than, yes, conscious, having the human experience, but are you able to expand a bit more on that when I say, well, who am I? Who am I that is experiencing this?
I think that's the $1 million question. And I think that's been asked for thousands of years, right? By Plato, Aristotle, Socrates started it off, right? And I think that is something that's going to be a lifelong journey for me. But for me right now, I used to define myself as a mother or as a veteran or as a woman. And now I'm none of that and all of that, simultaneously realizing that I'm a divine being that realizes that I choose my place in the universe. It's a choice.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I so resonate with that as well. Okay, so now we've gone down the rabbit hole. We've defined who we are and why we're here. Okay. Well, we're just about to define. Sorry, I take that back. What I carried away with myself there. We're now going to go to door 3. The energy is really high, and I'm feeling it now. Since you made that statement, I'm picking it up. Why am I here? So door number 3 is, why am I here? So on the backdrop of the first 2 doors, could you go into greater detail as this conscious being in a duality, experiencing being the mother, the writer, the veteran, why are you actually here experiencing this?
Well, that's also a question that I've asked myself many a times. And as I have awakened, and I don't know what's happened to me in the last 6 weeks, I can't really pinpoint it or nail it per se, like, okay, so this is a day that my eyes opened. I mean, I was opening them for a long time, but they're fully open and aware, right? And I think really the reason that I am here specifically, and I really think, to be honest with you, why we're all here is the ability to be self-aware. And when I say self-aware, I don't mean body bag self-aware. I mean self-aware of all the energy around us, the energy in the mountains, the energy in a rock, the energy in another person and a caterpillar. Whatever that energy is, it's all consciousness, and we are all connected to the same vibration. You know, Hindus used to call it the Akashic record, right? Where all knowledge that has ever been and all knowledge that ever will be and is present will exist simultaneously at the same time. I can actually feasibly understand that now. Before I was like, what in the heck does that mean? I just couldn't wrap my brain around it. I'm not just understanding it, I'm a part of it. And that is why I'm here.
Beautifully said. The energy I'm picking up now, I tell you, my face is permanently smiling. I'm going to have face ache by the time I finish this.
You always do when we talk. So.
It's just beautiful to hear this. It just resonates. It's wonderful. I mean, it is $1 million question as well. And every truth is right for every individual, Homo sapiens, sapien. But I love the fact that to become self-aware, I say to know thyself. So for my awakening, it was, I always say I went on a journey searching externally for, like, it seemed like forever, every religion, everything you could think of. And then I went, oh, I'm the one that's been looking for, it's me. And I was like, ah! And it was like, wow, after all of that. And then I went through the process, oh, why did I have to do that? You know, so yeah, I love how you narrated that. That was beautiful. And yeah, it just got me smiling because the energies are so beautiful. Right, okay, well, she's quick and fast, this one. She always is. You were on the show yesterday, like, wow, firing them bullets. So we're going to go deeper down the rabbit hole, and I can't tell it. I keep going on about this energy around me. Woof. And we're going to camp down the bottom now. We can do alcohol down there. We can do whatever you want down there. We've got the camp beds ready because we're going to go deeper, and well, you're going to go deeper and give me your truth and a really, if you can, an expansive view. What is then through this door that we're going to open? What is this reality? Now, I say it on every podcast. Everyone has a different label. Simulation, dream state, matrix, blah, 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 and above and beyond. And all of them are correct for their truth. Okay. I want to preempt it before we get to you answering that, is when we come across others that speak their truth, one thing I have to say, I love to say, especially on this podcast, the ones that come on, it's like the universe is resonating. We all come on, we all have the same truth, like the orange analogy, guys, I give. We're eating the orange, but we have a different experience from it. So this is the diversity and richness of having the human experience, consciousness experience in all things at all times, in all places. I just need to throw that in because I'm so happy at the moment with you. It's like, so I'm going to come down and say, what is this reality that you, this conscious being that came to know itself in? What is it?
By the way, you just had an orb float by your screen.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time. I had Grant, I recorded him last week, I think, and he stopped and went, oh my God, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, just right, woo, right by.
I tell you, the energy around me at the moment is like, oh, yeah, I just want to smile and laugh. But yeah, okay, forget the orbs.
So my truth is my choice, right?
But what is this reality?
The reality is choice. It's free will. It's having the ability to discern what is real in this realm right?
Okay.
For everybody around me, right? But then what is real for me? My truth, my reality is that everything I do now, I operate out without fear.
Mhm.
There is no more fear.
Mhm.
There is no more, anything holding me back from pursuing the things in this, iteration of this body, right? Because my spirit, soul, manifestation of energy, whatever you want, consciousness, okay, whatever you want to call it, understands that I'm a multiple dimensional being that is having this experience for right now. So this part of me chooses to participate in this because there are lessons for me to learn with people that I encounter throughout my life. There is no negative, right? There are lessons, right? There isn't really even positive per se. There's just benefit. So it's understanding that my truth is that I'm a multiple dimensional being that is having an experience in this earth plane. And I choose to be here because there is a purpose for me to be here.
Okay. Right. I want to take you a bit deeper on that. So, and this is the way I hope to do it. Just keep smiling. I want to say it's not me asking the questions here because something's going on. Okay, yes, it happens now and again. Okay, so got that. So, however, you, the consciousness, would recognize, and everything in this earth plane, this dream world or simulation, is made of consciousness too. Okay. So where I want to go with this deeper, for example, as an experiencer of either near-death experience, ET contact, and all the rest of it, we break the Newtonian laws in this 3D reality. And that in itself shows you that what was once thought to be a truth is a falsehood. Okay, so we start there, so we perceive this reality solid or soft or hairy or, beautiful or however. Would you agree on that? Where I'm trying to take you is it's illusionary. It's an illusion that consciousness has made like a construct or like a computer program to manifest, or a video game, when you put those virtual reality, I'm in there. I mean, after one, I have done it once. I nearly went mental because I was in another reality until I took the goggles off, so to speak. So would you, as to for the viewers that are just touching into this, most people now are aware of quantum physics and of energy and vibrational energy. So does that resonate with you, that you having this experience in this 3D reality is consciousness vibrating at different frequencies, so to allow such polarity and interaction, but it doesn't really exist?
I do. And, I used to, I'll give you an example of why I think there are glitches in the reality. For instance, deja vu. When we swear we've seen something or talked to this person, or that scene in our minds played out. When I went to Greece in 2006, I was home. Never been there before in my life. Don't know why I had such a pull to go there. But when I went there, I recognized places, right? And I had deja vu all the time. And I think that's the glitch in the matrix, where our realities are simultaneously existing with one another, because we're all multi-dimensional beings, and we know each other on some plane. And we've created this existence per se, this 3D realm that we call like our human life, our Homo sapiens sapien existence, because we want to learn something here. Because I think even if you look through the divinity of like the Greek god pantheon, right? They still had jealousy. They still had insecurity. And these were gods, right? Per se. Okay. It doesn't matter how much of a higher vibration you are in being a divinity, right? Or dimensional being, you still have to learn and grow. And I think honestly, why we're here on this earth plane is exactly for that reason. I don't think it's a punishment. I don't think it's a prison, rent planet.
Would you say, I mean, I see it as the dance of Layla, or the play, the divine play, or the divine comedy. I do use an analogy that I'm in the movie, I'm watching the movie, and I'm in the movie, and through that come experiences, but I'm not actually it. The point I'm going to is, if you say to someone, this reality is not real, this is the area that I'm sort of being pushed to go with you on this podcast, is the fact that if you've had interaction or contact with other dimensional beings, whether ET or whatever, and you float through a wall, or you're on another planet, or you're on a craft, or you've gone back in time, or you've got a future vision, then that in itself, many don't know that have had these experiences, that actually opens the door for them to say, well, you need some discernment now, because this reality, it can't be real, it can't be true, because I've fractured it by doing said experiences. Does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Einstein's theory of relativity, and then the ability to eventually travel time, because space and time are man-made constructs. And he believed that if we could permeate the two, right, that we could actually basically, time doesn't exist, right? It's something that we made up.
Superposition. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's a quantum superposition. So no, I just wanted to go a bit deeper on that one, and I was being urged to do that. You're the first person I've asked in the conversation, this is not true, is it? It's not real. And it just rose today just for you, April. So on that one, okay.
Well, let me just say this with that. The only thing real in your life is what you think is real.
There you go. Spot on.
You manifest your reality. And I say, and that's it's such a,
it's a
kind of a cop out to say that in a way, right? But it's actually true, right? Because think about it. Think about experiences like from the smallest millimeter of an experience that somebody has. When you believe something to be true, then it's your truth.
And it will materialize.
Yes. When you put your energy behind it, it happens for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you believe that this is a complete reality and everything that happens to you is happening in 3D time, and you choose to stay in that 3D existence, then that's the only experience you're going to have.
Exactly.
When you choose to step out of that, when you understand, and that's why I said the first question you asked me is choice. I realize that I have choice, free will, and that's a little bit biblical, right? The free will thing, right? But no matter who you talk to, I've communicated with extraterrestrial beings. I've done a lot of meditation. I have 5 guides that are around me. One's from the Palladian. One is, I don't know what it is. It's kind of a toad looking kind of thing. It's hard to describe. Very, very sweet though. Very, very, he's the one that's always around me when I'm having
to the next door. Shh, pull back. You're jumping to the next door. We're going to talk about ET. Just hold back. Okay. So you really, you summed that up beautifully, from your truth, what your reality is. And I resonate with that. I may articulate it different. That's because I'm British and you're USA. Apart from that,
bloody Americans, right?
Bloody Americans, the time zones, and it's like, and I get, and the language, even though we both speak English, some words that you come out with, Americans, I'm like, what is that? And I won't let Chris Matthew get over the fact that before I interviewed him, he said, I'm just going on a potty break. And I went, what? That's what babies do. They go on and I was going, oh my God. So yeah, apart from that, different.
I can't imagine Chris Matthews saying that. That's hilarious. But
I think he was winding me up because I always moan about the language difference. There are certain terms that maybe a negative here and a positive there, or vice versa. But we're overcoming that. We're here to learn and overcome and just laugh at everything, really. Right. So we're going to door number 5. I so think I'm going to door number 5. I am. So on the back of what we spoke about, and I really thank you for your expression of your truth, and it was really beautiful. It had a lot of clarity in it as well. Who then is ET? Now, I use ET as an umbrella. So ET could mean any dimensional being, multidimensional being. It could be greys, it could be reptilian, it could be any of the above. I'm not talking about the spirit world as a medium. I'm not talking about, those that have passed over from the human form and choose to become spirit form next. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the ones that you've had interaction with. Now, when I say who are they, it's like there's 2 questions in one there. Who are they in their true essence, as we've asked, who am I? And who are they in their relation to us? Who is ET from your truth?
From my truth. Well, first of all, I don't think they're little green men that run around in spacecrafts. So
I've never seen little green men running around at all, anywhere actually. I've seen green ones, but not green.
So remember when I told you that the veil is lifted and I'm awake and I see things and I realize that this is choice and because I am a multiple dimensional being, I have come to realize that these ETs that we talk about are also multiple dimensional beings, and everything in the universe as we know it, and there are multiverses, a multiverse place. It's not a universe, it's a multiverse. Everything is made up of energy. So these are beings of energy that either have the technology or the awareness to permeate our 3D realm.
I like that. Yeah.
And for some reason, the 5 beings that have chosen to guide me, thank God for them, they are in essence my teachers, my protectors.
I'm with you.
Yep. And for me, they're, obviously, I've heard all kinds of stuff, right? Mediums and psychics and people who are experiencers, and everybody has their own way of thinking about these things or their own experience to call from. And for me, there's no more heaven or hell. There's just energy.
Yeah.
And these and we know as science, quantum physics, string theory, right? There are multiple dimensions. I think it's up to like 11, I think, right? As my brain can go to about the 5th, and then after that, I'm checked out. I'm not that smart. I'm kind of smart, but not that smart. So I can't even fathom how or how they come to us and why they want to, but thank God they've taken
jumping to the next doors, please. Stop it. Stay on topic. I want to show the podcast will be over in 5 minutes. Stop. I want to jump in there. I want to put the brakes on. Put the brakes on.
Okay, so my reality on my beings is that they are obviously ancient beings that have been around the cosmos for millions, if not billions of years. And they are here to help, watch, and guide. That's for me. That's what my reality is.
I want to go back to where you said about their frequency, their vibration, and you can only get to the 5th and that sort of area. I want to get sticky on that one. I used to have that perception until I listened to many others, and I found it resonated, but I couldn't believe it. And then I really didn't take much notice until one time I had another experience, contact experience. And then I realized that, I was informed. You are the same as us. You've just floated through the wall, Gloria. You've gone. You can do what we do. And we're here to show you that you can do this if you choose it. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, it's choice.
So I would never say, personally, for my truth, and no one has to agree, but I'm saying for my truth is, I'm not stuck at 5th, I'm not stuck at 10 or 1 or anything. It's my journey, my individual conscious journey and choice. Do I want to go further down the rabbit hole, basically? So I've obviously done it in a different state of consciousness, in semi-conscious state, in dream state. And I have, as a child, done it in what we call the waking state. And it's happened, but I think because I was a child, I didn't have the beliefs, the bigotries, the concepts, the fear. I didn't have it. So it was easier for me to do the transition while consciously awake as a child. And obviously, as adult went through and all the beliefs coming and all the experiences, and I forgot who I was, it became more difficult. And then I've had to unpick all of that again. And you just sort of go, and sometimes, April, I put my hand to the wall and I said, I know I can put my hand through the wall because I've done it. But then the mind and the ego gets in, the human side, we're supposed to do this to push us. Well, you can't do it now. So I resonate with it that way, that we can do anything if we choose to do it. And it's that we don't, I think on an individual basis, even myself, we don't truly, even though we say we're awake, we're aware of who we are, we've got that. Yeah, that I think is maybe if you're going to call it a stage, and there are multiple stages as we call it ascend, if you want. I'm coming from a juxtaposition, so I'm talking from the Homo sapiens sapiens side, not from consciousness, because consciousness doesn't have to do anything. It is just that. But I see at this point, and I definitely see in you, that we have to, or we not have to, it's a self, when we say self-realization, to know thyself, I think it's in increments as we go. Once we're awake, we come increments after increments. And when that happens, this is just my truth at the moment, could change tomorrow, next week. It's noticeable and it's evidenced by how our reality is shifted. And I'll give you an example. Look what happened when me and you connected the other month. And since then, because on the individual side, we were doing the work on ourselves, even though we was awake, and it's still the work has to be done, it's never ending. And then the reality shifted, then you're there and I'm there. And then boom, it just shifted everything. Does that make sense? Or did I go round and round the houses? Did that resonate with you, what I was trying to put across?
Yeah, I mean, I think Shakespeare said it best, right? Where he said the world is a stage and we are merely players in it.
I just like to say it all complicated and metaphysical. It looks good. No, but I agree. But I didn't want to plagiarize Shakespeare. Okay, I didn't want to do it. I really wanted it, and I wanted it in language like layman's that I speak, so the audience could maybe better pick up what I'm trying to, the narrative I'm trying to give. Yeah.
I think, I mean, if we unpack what that statement means, I mean, of course, if you look at that on the surface, then we all think, oh, Shakespeare, brilliant writer, brilliant, playwright, tragedy was his thing. But I think it speaks on a much larger and deeper level, because everything he wrote, and I'm not a huge Shakespeare fan, nor am I a huge Shakespeare study.
Brain fog, I get it all the time.
I know, I can't think. Everything he did was in layers.
Yeah.
Everything had a twist or a plot, and isn't that life, right?
Yeah.
So, and you keep saying, everybody wakens. Not everybody does wake up. There are a lot of people.
I would disagree on that one, and I'll tell you why, because we can get into this. We'll just stop the rabbit hole for a minute. We won't go down anymore. Everyone will awaken, because every Homo sapiens sapien is the source, and this is it. That's just my truth at the moment. So if you've got source, everything is consciousness. Put the colander over, all the beams of light are individual Homo sapiens sapiens. It's all there's nothing outside consciousness. So in lockdown, people, they may not even realize that they are awakening to their true self. Their fears are dropping. That's a sign of awakening. So I would agree to disagree with that. My truth is, and I'm not saying it's the truth for the world, my truth is, because everything is consciousness, this is consciousness experiencing all things at all times in one timeline, multi-dimensional at the same time, as you stated, everything will awaken and know itself. It's just different at different times and on the journey.
Do you think that consciousness is choice, that has choice?
Consciousness is just here to have an experience. That's my truth. I am consciousness, and to know thyself, I created all the gods, all the polarities, and came in, I'm going to do this basic now, came in like with an amnesia. I had to forget who I was. Alan Watts, oh, God rest his soul, I wish he was here now, he'd save the world. He did a beautiful analogy, which I'm going to kill. It takes a bit of time, so I'm going to kill it. He said, just imagine you were like a god, and you could dream any dream you wanted, but you knew you was a god, and you went down and experienced it, and you had a wonderful time for 75 years. I really am kidding this. And they said, wow, that was wonderful. I'm going to go back again. But this time I'm going to have some real dangerous adventurer. I might even be a murderer, or anything like that. And you're going through it, and 75 years later, you come out of the illusion, go, wow, that was amazing. I wonder what it would be like to go into this dream state and temporarily forget who I was. However, I've got the little, the glitches in the simulation to every so often to give me, I know who I am. When you get that light bulb, boom, and it goes, yeah. And you go back in and say on the third time, he does it a lot longer, Alan Watts. And you're in this adventure. I mean, my God, you've been in wars, you've done all that, and you have no idea that you are it. You have no idea you are it. And this adventure goes on, and then one day you're sitting on a chair in a shop talking to Gloria, and you realize, oh my God, I am it. Whilst you're in the dream state or playing the role. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how the best way I can articulate it is by plagiarizing and killing Alan Watts. I do recommend you listen to Alan Watts. It's for me, that's what the experience is. It's just consciousness. So when, the beings say what is hidden is going to be revealed, all the messages is unconditional love. All the messages that we're getting from them is drop your judgment, drop your biases, work on your ego. But however, when you look at another Homo sapiens sapien, you're looking in the mirror. That's you in a different shape or form. So you're going to want for another what you want for yourself. So there's a parallel answer to that. One, everything is consciousness, everything will awaken and know itself. And two, if I'm looking at you, and if I am truly awake and I'm looking at you, then I know who you are. I know who you are. It doesn't matter what happens to you, sweetie. No matter what the illusion does, I know who you are, and you know who you are. There's no fear. There's nothing wrong. So I can't judge you to say on both parallel lines, you can't wake up. So that's my long and round the houses. What do you feel about that one?
I mean, I agree a little. I agree for the most part. I think I take issue with that everybody wakes up. In my experience, that hasn't happened. There's been a few people that have been blood related to me, that have passed on. That I don't believe had the awakening in this iteration. that I saw, that I experienced.
Mhm.
And I don't say they're doomed to repeat it until they wake up. I don't feel that at all. You know, I don't think that there's like a sense of gloom and doom, you know, be in the cosmos that, you know.
But don't you find that these are pushing you when in the past, when we resist them, yeah, they're pushing you. They're there in your reality. You're attracting them. They're not individual. If you're not a human being, they're not a human being either. And they're pushing you because just, why am I resisting? Why are they pissing me off? Why do I want to faceplant them? I need to look within. So they're there. My truth is they're there, yeah, to push the individual singularity consciousness to wake up, to deal with the crap, the indoctrination, the belief systems, the fear, to bring it out. So that's how I look at other beings. No matter what they do, I may not like what they do, and they're arseholes, but they're still conscious beings. And they're
absolutely
still, having the and I can relate that with ET too, because I've never had a negative ET experience ever. And I'm old, very old actually. Some do. It's a choice. That consciousness chose to have that, to work through that, the fear-based. As there's no difference. If ET is in our reality, there's no difference. If we're working on Homo sapiens sapien, right? April presses my button and pisses me off. I need to check me out. It's not April's fault. It's me. There's no difference with these beings either. But they do come in with unconditional love. In my truth, this is my truth.
Remember, we can't control anybody else's, and that includes ET thoughts, actions, deeds, right? We can't control what they think, what they say, or what they do. Absolutely. We can only control our reaction and or response to that said action, right? So that's the golden lesson in this life.
You know, we both said the same thing, but a different way, because you're American and I'm
know thyself.
I'm British. Am I British? I don't know. I don't know what my label is here anymore. Am I British? Am I English?
You're a Homo sapien sapien.
I'm a Homo sapien sapien. There you go. I'm going to put that on the next, election. What is your race? Homo sapien sapien. Maybe we should all do that.
Yeah, we should. Then a lot of our issues would just disappear.
I think let's. I'm already changing my language. I can't even speak my language now. It's hard to talk. Anyway, let's move on. Right, we're going to door number 6, which we've already touched, because this is a fantastic conversation. It's so organic with you, April, when we talk.
I know.
Get the freaking doors. Let's just have the conversation. How are we connected? Well, we've touched on that one, okay? We've really gone through that. Door number 7, though. With all that we spoke about, we're so deep down the rabbit hole. We know we're just going to stay for a few days, and anything could happen, okay? Where magic happens. From your truth, with all that on the back of what we've just spoke about and discussed, and thank you, it's been beautiful. Why are they here? Hold on. They've been here always. I'm aware of that. I say it on every podcast. They're in Egyptian times, they're in biblical scripts, they're on cave walls. I know they've always been here, okay? But I'm stressing to the point, in the timeline we're in now, in 2021, excuse me, and I would say it really, really increased from 2012, 2017, I go 2019, then onwards from 2019 to 2021, the increase in contact, in sightings, and the most common phenomena that I'm aware of that's also happening from this being now is what we call downloads. So it's not so much the physical seeing them anymore, it's evolved. It's like we're merging with them. It's a merging, it's a blending, permeating two energies. This is from my truth at the moment, but it is, and I always use the word because it is, I see it daily, it's exponentially occurring at this time. Why, from your truth rather, why do you think this is happening now? Why now? in this timeline now?
I think it's perception.
Go on. I like it.
I think it's perception of reality. I think I can't contribute what I'm going to say to science, but we do know, I mean, let's look at the last 100 years, the scientific advances that we've made, but it's perception. For instance, my sister this morning, her husband, she said, one of them said, I'm off to the salt mines today. She owns this beautiful little store. And she goes, you know what? I'm not off to the salt mines. I'm off to the diamond mines, because I don't have to look too hard to understand and realize that I have diamonds everywhere I look in my store, with the people that come in it, the vendors that I have in there, and the ability to do what I love every day. And I think the answer to your question is why now? It's because the perception of our reality is out there. Science every day is coming up. I read a lot of science journals and things like that, but we are more and more becoming self-aware of our surroundings. And as you say, our consciousness.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the old dogma on, man-made religion, religious constructs, and I don't care what religion it is, and I'm not dogging anybody's religion, but those are self-imposed limitations that we place on ourselves, but we are limitless beings. Yeah. And I think as we awaken to that opportunity and reality, so to speak, I hate to use that word in that way, but that makes that consciousness available to everybody. And that's why I think we're becoming more self-aware.
Wow, there you go. Do you feel, I've got to say, well, I'm going to jump straight into door number 8, the last door down the rabbit hole. I'm going to pull back on that question for the moment. Why then, okay, we've got to that, but why then are they so interested in us? Now, they've always been interested again, but why? What is their contribution to or not? Why are they so, on a personal truth, since Christmas last year, whenever that was, it's the download, I like to call them etchings, that's Robert, information, experiential information knowing. So totally different. It's so, and it's not just me, I'm hearing it everywhere. Even from what we call non-contact experiences, why are they so interested? What are they doing? What do you think they're doing? Some people think they're helping, some think they're guiding, some are saying, well, you're us anyway, and we've just come back to help you. What's your truth?
I just got, my guy just popped in my head, actually. Said, because we're ready. And my sister just passed me a note like in school and said, because society is struggling so badly. Maybe that's why we're ready. I don't know. I mean, let's look at
your sister. I
love her. I love her. She's one of my angels on this earth.
I love your sister. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
She's a good egg. Yeah. I think because let's look at forget reality, forget consciousness, forget all of that. Let's look at
from the Homo sapien perspective.
Our planet is struggling, it's in trouble. Our Amazon rainforest is down to, I think, 20%. It's actually starting to emit carbon into the atmosphere for the first time in history. We're having natural disasters never before in history that we've had, like the hurricane magnitude of the hurricanes, the earthquakes. We're constantly at war. And part of that is self-awareness. And when I say that, it's like nature's aware that, we're here and we're damaging her. So she's kind of like fighting back, right? And then humans are aware that we're in trouble and we're scared because there's the fear factor, okay? Yeah. And that's coming into play with, it's kind of like whenever something really big on the news comes on, and I really don't watch the news, but sometimes you can't help it, hear different things, and it's really, really bad. It's a human on human, situation. I wonder to myself, and it's all over the news, like in the US, I wonder to myself, okay, so what's really going on? Like, is there like a meteor heading to us, or is there a huge volcano coming, that's going to explode and they can't evacuate the people? Or did ET go to the White House and have dinner with, President, Biden, and said, hey, you guys are pretty, screwed up the world pretty good. So we're just going to come in and we're just going to like take it over for a while and reset.
If it's coming from the Homo sapien perspective, could it be the latter one? Just, yeah, I mean, get me out of there. I've had enough.
So what I think it is now, I think that we're at the point in our evolution of consciousness that there are a lot of us that either are awakening or have awakened that are ready for the message, that are ready for the help.
I mean, no, that was lovely. Thank you for sharing your truth. I mean, I try to end with my truth on all podcasts, is that I come from a place, an experiential place, that's my truth. We've already done it. We've already done it, hence why the deja vus. We've already done it. And this is just the last part of the illusion. Consciousness, the individual singularity, no matter what level you're at, is awakened and resisting. And this is the last part, or the last part, I will say, when you're just about to give birth, the crowning, don't push, be still, and just allow the flow to go. So I don't, how can I put it? I see it in a more beautiful, that's even wrong. So I can't find words to even express. We've done it. We've done it. We're going to awaken to our true selves. And there is no time on that because it doesn't exist. And we're going to laugh and we're going to smile. And we're going to go, what a fucking ride that was. Like many before us have gone, like Alan Watts and the likes of them. Okay. Can
I add something to that?
Of course you can, anything.
I don't know specifically all the stages, but think about the stages of grief, right? What's the last stage of grief? Acceptance.
Yeah. Everything is acceptance. Let it go.
We're in the age of acceptance.
Yeah. And I mean, we're just throwing out our analogies here because me and April like to do that often. Another one I love, and it's from Muji Baba, another beautiful being. And I remember hearing it and he says, you need to die before you die. That means the physical death of the ego, who you think you are, get out of the way before you physically die, so to speak. You don't have to physically die to go back into consciousness and know thyself. We're at it now where every singularity, there's no timeline. Anyone that you can't put, because time doesn't exist. The time-space continuum doesn't exist when you have a self-realization. You're just aware that every singularity, everything will know itself, know thyself. And then you still have your human experience with, like the ETs do. They had an interaction with our human experience, but they've gone past us. They've done that bit, and they're off. Or maybe we're them, and we've come back for the last. I want to do it again and come back. Who knows? That's the unknown, and that's the beauty. That's the excitement for me.
I think that's perception.
Yeah,
that's all perception.
Excitement. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
Any single thing, and all that you thought was true, more likely was not, and what you was told was mythology, was true. And I just end our podcast saying, we are the gods. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. There's no outside savior. It's just the likes of all of us on planet Earth. Is it 7 billion of us? Singularities of consciousness. That's all we are. There you go.
We are beings of love.
Well, of course we are. Of course we've got to say that. No, seriously, we are. We are multi-dimensional. There's this label, though, because actually I was thinking this yesterday, and when I was talking to someone else, and I've got all these different labels that I learn over decades, you know. And actually, when I go into myself, I can just say, I am it. I haven't even got a label. I am it. There is no descriptive word. For me, that's all. For me, it's just my truth. And every time someone uses a terminology to describe who their true self is, it resonates beautifully to me, because I know we can't really, consciousness is omnipresent, omnipotent. How can you can't articulate such things. Mm-hmm. When we have these experiences with other dimensional beings, we don't have a conversation. There's no linguistics, there's no language.
Right.
It's energy, isn't it? It's like this love. You can't even describe the experience of it, because you kill it just by.
There's no words in any language that I know that can describe the things that I've seen and felt.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And
pure light, pure love.
Yeah, I would say to anyone that's experienced this in any way at all, what you experienced that you think is just coming from another being, that's who you are. You're it. That unconditional love that you're experiencing, you think it's coming in the illusion, you think it's coming externally from a dimensional being. That's the illusion. What you're experiencing, that's who you are. You are that unconditional love. And on that note, April.
Bravo.
I knew it'd be a great chat with you. It's not even a conversation. It just go with the flow. Thank you so much for sharing your truth on consciousness and going in the 8 doors. We went round the houses, we went everywhere, and it was so much fun talking with you.
Thank you, Gloria, for having me. I appreciate it.
No. Thank you for sharing your truth. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for watching the podcast. And again, I'm going to be professional and do the advertising. You can find Inception podcast. I've got an auto cue here, you see. No memory, brain fog. On Forbidden Knowledge News Network, where you can view all these amazing and inspirational, conscious expanding interviews and chats from Forbidden Knowledge News, Beyond Classified, Day Zero, Dawson Time, Raised by Giants, and Understanding Propaganda. I'm getting into that one now with Corey Hughes. And at first I was like, oh my God, I can't listen, because, they say what we're too scared to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's always, and it's belief systems and cultures and religions and I watch that show. I do listen. I do. No one's looking, I'm listening. And I understand. I drop my biases, and I'm really grateful for Day Zero as well. That's really expanded my understanding of the illusion. I'm better informed by them types of podcasts. So I do suggest you go to Forbidden Knowledge News Network. And so, guys, till the next time I have a conversation with another amazing Homo sapiens sapien, you take care. See you soon. Bye.
Bye, Gloria. Thank you.
Bye.